And my grandmother, this woman is 5 foot tall on a good day, and she is swinging a shovel at a bear.
You were medically declared dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your father prayed, said in Jesus' name,
And I came back.
and you came back.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Coffee with Randy podcast. I am on location today in Karma Coffee House in Cullman, Alabama, which is my hometown. I'm super excited to start this podcast here. This is episode 1. We shall see how it goes. It's going to be interesting for sure. The concept for this podcast is I am set up in a coffee shop, and you can walk in and share your story with me to get free coffee, which will be in the form of a gift card. And then you are also entered in a chance to win $50 through an Instagram poll. So what's going to happen is at the end of every episode, I'm going to collect the best stories, put them in a podcast episode, publish that, and then give a few days voting for people to check it out and be able to vote for their favorite story. Best story wins $50. So this is your first time watching or listening. Make sure that you follow or you subscribe if you're on YouTube or whatever kind of platform you're on. Just hit that follow button, subscribe button. Feel free to share it with your friends. And if you're on the show, you definitely need to share it with your friends and get them to vote for you. Caveat, they actually have to listen to all of them and vote because you need to actually be honest. And if another person has a better story than your friend, I'm sorry, but you have to vote for that person. Those are the rules. Good luck. And here we go. Stay caffeinated.
Alright, yeah. My name's James Gibson, and this is my story. Yeah, so growing up, played a lot of sports. Very, athletic child or human or whatever you want to call it. So I played a lot of sports. In my 8th grade year, I was like, I'm going to play basketball in high school. That's all I wanted to do.
Because for those who are either listening or even watching, they can't tell. How tall are you?
I'm 6'3", 6'4"-ish,
You feel
270.
6'7" every time I stand next to you.
I'm just a big boy, man. I drank my milk growing up, so I got
tall,
big bones.
Man. Yeah,
yes,
you're
sir.
tall. I love it.
So my 8th grade summer, going into my freshman year of high school, I had to go get a sports physical, just like every other athlete or student athlete does to go play sports in high school. And so I went through my regular sports physical, and I was cleared for everything. And there was this cool opportunity to do just a heart screening for a company called Who We Play For, just to help them get their numbers up, get them off the ground. And little did I know that was going to save my life. And so I went in, did the heart screening. Literally only took 10, 15 minutes. That's it, because it's just a couple stickers around your heart and then a couple on your arms and your upper waist. And They just do the heart screening. Takes, I think, less than 30 seconds, and then you're good to go. And so my mom got a phone call from our personal trainer at the high school, and it was like, hey, you need to go do a follow-up appointment with a cardiologist or with another doctor just to check it out. James got flagged for a heart condition. And so we went and did another follow-up for a cardiologist, and I thought, it was just a blimp in the system, come clear me. Let's get ready to go play some high school sports. And so we redid our follow-up appointment, and they're like, no, this is serious. And so what heart condition I have is called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And basically I have an enlarged heart. Most humans have where when you push blood out your aorta valve, you have a 4-lane highway, and mine is a 2-lane highway. So I got a little build up on the side. So
Gotcha.
I got a big heart, basically.
So the heart is enlarged, and that makes the valves larger,
Yes.
and therefore less room for the blood to flow.
Yeah, so I got muscle buildup on the inside of my valves.
You're so muscular.
Dude, I know. Out here picking up left and right now. So yeah, I got muscle buildup on the inside of my valves, and it can make my blood very turbulent when it comes out, because whenever your heartbeat gets going, you tend to pump out blood faster, and when it moves faster, it'll shoot the blood out and it'll make it super turbulent. And so that's what mine does. And so I run the risk of going into sudden cardiac arrest.
So for those who may not know, sudden cardiac arrest, is that essentially a heart attack?
So there's actually it's a big difference. So heart attack is, I can't really remember off the top of my head, but there is a big difference between a heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Because a heart attack, it happens and it's like, you may have like 5, 10, 15 minutes to be like, oh, like, because people's arms go numb. And
like in
everything.
movies, you see that. Where they're
it's
like, I can need to, something's
you
wrong.
get into it, and like, there's been stories of people driving themselves to the hospital after having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Sudden cardiac arrest is, you're on the ground. There's
Done.
nothing.
So like arrest, meaning the heart stops.
Stops, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went for 3 years with nothing. I knew I had a heart condition. I still love sports, so I started playing golf because it's a very low impact sport. Like, didn't really get my heart rate up unless I had made a bad chip shot or something. And so
that was less physical, more mental, right?
Yeah, that was more like just me being like, this is stupid. And so played golf, played all 4 years of high school, did pretty well. Wasn't my favorite sport, didn't really care much about it, but I loved the team aspect of it. So that's the whole reason I kept playing sports or playing golf and everything. My junior summer into my senior year, I worked for a landscaping company, which probably shouldn't have done it with my heart condition, but it was
hot out in the heat.
It was
physical work,
but it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money as a kid my age. I was able to buy my first car off of it.
That's amazing.
And so we were doing a job where our boss was like, look, if we get this done in 10 days, we'll give you a really big bonus. And we were like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it was 9 days of like 14-hour work days. And we were just cranking them out. And on the 10th day, so all I remember of the 10th day is I woke up late for work and got there probably 5 minutes before the trucks rolled out. So
wow. Just barely made it.
That's all I remember of that day. And what I'm about to tell you is everything I've been told since then. I got there late to work, worked a completely normal day, they said. Nothing out of the ordinary. And then we were sitting around. We got the job finished. We were all super excited. We were sitting around just cutting it up, just like you and I are. Yeah. And I looked at my boss and I said, I don't feel. And as soon as I said feel, I hit my knees and went to sudden cardiac arrest. Since they knew I had a heart condition, they were like, this isn't like, hey, wake up, pour some water on them, like passed out. So they immediately called 911. And it was a super God thing because the ambulance was like the entrance to the neighborhood, and then about 30 feet left of that was a fire station.
Wow.
And so the ambulance was right there. Yeah. And so they called them. The ambulance got there within like 5 minutes. They started CPR on me, and it wasn't working. They did the paddles. Those didn't work. And so they loaded me up on the gurney, and at that point I had been dead for about 2 minutes. So I coded, yeah. They had this machine on me to keep me going because the hospital in my town's really good at like stabilizing people. And so they were trying to get me back to the hospital. And my dad got on the scene as the EMTs were like, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And so my dad looks at the EMT and goes, where's my son? And the EMT's like, you can't go back there. Like, obviously, you're not supposed to go back there. But,
but who's going to stop?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
My boss and my coworker looked at the EMT and goes, I wouldn't stop him.
I mean, yeah. If he's related to you, I'm imagining he's also a pretty big guy.
My dad, I'll have to show you a picture later. My dad's 5'11".
Okay.
He is Mr. Santa Claus, the biggest white beard. And I'll have to send you a picture or something so you can show them. He's just such a great guy. He's a youth pastor of our local church.
Oh, cool.
He's been in ministry for 25 plus years, I think. So just a great guy. I love that man. If I could be half the man he is when I grow up, I feel like I'll be going straight.
That's cool, man.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
But
so Santa Claus
showed up.
Your dad.
And
they stopped him.
He was like, you can't go back there. And my dad goes, you gonna stop me? And the EMT goes, no. And so he goes to the back of the ambulance, rips open the first door. He can kind of see me, and then he rips open the second door and he just sees me laying there lifeless. And he said I was all blue and gray and just I was gone.
Yeah.
And so he didn't know what to do, but he felt like he should just pray. And so in that moment, he put his hand on my leg and couldn't really feel skin because I was wearing pants because I was outside. So he put his hand up my shin and grabbed my shin and just said, "In the name of Jesus." And I sat up and took a breath. And the EMTs watched it happen. They're like, "Oh." And they're like, we gotta go back. We gotta go to the hospital. And so they closed the doors and they took me to the hospital. And I spent 12 to 14 days in intensive care.
Yeah.
I got stabilized at my local hospital, and I was taken to a hospital in Orlando. I spent most of my stay there.
You remember like going to work
Yep.
and then
I was in the hospital, yeah. And so...
I'm sure you had a ton of questions.
Oh, yeah. I was like... So what they said was I was like Dory.
Yeah.
And very much like short-term memory. Like I had just bought myself a new phone case the day before. And I was like, oh, my gosh, y'all got me a new phone case? And so, another cool thing. So they tried to put me in a medical coma whenever I got to the first hospital. Because when your body experiences something like that, it needs to rest.
Sure.
And so when they were transferring me from the gurney to the bed of the new hospital, I woke up. I was just like, hey, guys, I'm here. And so I woke up and went Hulk mode, apparently.
Because you're freaking out.
Because I didn't know where I was at.
Yeah.
And so I ripped all my IVs out of my arms. Apparently I chucked a nurse. I kicked another one into, like, the stall door. It took a guy named Big Mike 2 tries to get me down. They had to strap me to the bed with leather restraints.
Yeah, but it's insane because you were medically declared dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your father prayed, said in Jesus' name,
And I came back.
and you came back.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's I think the hardest thing with it is like, I feel this pressure of I'm back for a reason. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is yet.
But dude, you're young. Like, how old are you?
I'm 20.
20.
Yeah.
So this was 2 years ago.
Yeah, this was 2 years ago.
You're young, man. 20.
Yeah.
Like you have. Think about. I'm 36.
Okay.
Think about the distance between me and you. Like that's
like-
a person who can drive.
Dang, that is the person who can drive.
Yeah, and I'm just now starting this podcast today. This might be what I do as my life mission, and I didn't start doing it until I'm 36. You're 20. You have so much time. I mean, I say that we actually never know.
Yeah, and like before my whole accident, I wasn't I was super grumpy. I was like, man, I wish I was playing basketball.
You're super
Like,
grumpy?
Just, yeah, dude.
I love the way you described that. I was super grumpy.
I was walking around with super mad at the world because something I loved was slammed in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved basketball. Like I would do anything to even after my accident, I missed my first 2 weeks of my senior year of high school because I was in a hospital.
Yeah.
Once I got cleared to go back to high school, I had to wear a life vest, which is basically an external defibrillator that I had to wear until I could have my surgery to get an internal defibrillator. Because usually you think of it like old granny when she's 84, she has one, or a lot of older people have them, but not a lot of younger people have them. So I can't go through metal detectors, microwaves are a no-no.
Gotcha.
And so
so you have one on you now. So if something
right
were to
here in my
happen
chest.
again, then
It would.
it kickstart you. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So how they work is it's supposed to be timed perfectly to where it would detect an abnormal rhythm, and it'll shock me at the right moment to kick me back into the normal one.
That's incredible.
And so I'll be doing the electric shuffle, and it'll hit me, and then I'll come back to normal, and I'll just start doing the Cupid shuffle or something. So
That's insane. Okay, so let's say let's go to. You said you're not sure what your purpose is, but I mean, you just sharing your story here, that's meaningful, and this might be a chance to share more about that nonprofit.
Yeah.
And then also, there not be a kid out there who, because they heard this or they heard something similar, they decide to get screened.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that company who we play for. I've done lots of cool things with them over the years. Little statistic about them. They've screened over about 300,000 students and caught over about 300 cases, including mine.
Wow.
And so they've helped push bills into, since I'm from Florida, they've helped push a lot of bills to make it mandatory for student athletes to have heart screenings, because with my condition, it doesn't show up on a normal sports physical.
Gotcha.
Or you're just they're just checking you out. And, oh, you're good to go.
They listen to the heart, but they don't like see.
They don't
it's
see
not EKG,
yeah,
right?
It's not super in depth. It's more of like you're listening for like a murmur or something like that.
Gotcha.
This is like this really, really gets
very
in
specific.
there. Yeah, and it started from it was a bunch of these guys, and they're all playing soccer with their buddy, and their buddy, his name was Rafe, and he passed away on the soccer field at a practice from the same heart condition that I have. And there was no way they were able to get to an EKG because it was, or not EKG, an AFib.
Yeah.
There was no way they were able to get to one because it was locked up in the gym and they were out on the practice field.
Wow.
And so,
how old or how young was he?
I want to say he was
Like in his early
sophomore, junior year of high school.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
like just a student athlete.
Yeah.
From that moment, they decided that they're going to like try to make a change in this because it's the number one leading killer in student athletes.
My goodness.
Because it doesn't get caught by sports physicals. Like student athletes get killed by heart conditions and everything way more than a school fire.
Right.
Like someone hasn't been killed in a school fire since like the 50s.
Yeah.
And we practice drills for those every single year, but we don't do anything to prevent for student athletes dropping with heart conditions or anything.
Right.
My senior year, like after I graduated and everything, I was like, I'm not working that summer. Like I'm going to do me. And so I went and actually worked with this company and not got my hands dirty, but like I went and like did heart screenings and went to the high schools, and it was pretty cool because there was some people that they got flagged and their parents came back and were like, you're wrong. Like this isn't it. And I was like,
I'm sure it's hard to hear. It was hard for you.
Oh yeah, it was so hard, and like it was even hard on my parents because they wanted to see me succeed in everything that I do, just like how you're a parent, you want to see your kids succeed.
Yeah.
And just to watch me just shut down and just not be the potential person I could be, it was really hard on them too. And so I was like, look, there's always a chance that we are wrong, but the chances that we're not, and that your son or daughter does drop from an underlying heart condition, and you had the tools to fix that. Like, what weight is that going to be on your shoulders for the rest of your life where you're like, oh, like Ethan, like he went and got screened, but his parents didn't listen to it, and they let him play high school sports.
Yeah.
And he dropped, and he died, and now we're at his funeral. To me, it's just like crazy. Like a heart screening or a life.
Yeah.
Like I'm going heart screening all day long.
For sure.
And there's no price you can put on life either.
No.
So.
Well, you think about like there was a time when people didn't do breast cancer screenings or they didn't do prostate exams and all that.
Yeah.
And now we regularly recommend those for certain ages or certain time periods.
Mm-hmm.
So this sounds like there needs to be more awareness around this.
Oh, 100%.
That's incredible, man.
But yeah.
Hey, thank you for sharing your story.
Yes, sir.
Like seriously.
Anytime.
This was awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Catherine,
Hi.
and I'm here to share the story of how a family vacation turned into my grandmother fighting a bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it.
When I was 13, it was August, and my family had planned to take a family vacation out to Colorado. My grandmother at the time owned a house outside of Colorado Springs, really pretty area. We were going to go hike, stay in the house for cheap, just kind of hang out. I was 13. It was my parents and me, my younger brother, and my mom had just given birth at the end of June. So I had my 8-week-old baby sister on this trip as well, and it was her first family vacation. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my parents, and we road trip it. So this was like the first big long haul trip with the baby.
Yeah.
We had done our thing most of the week. We were actually we were leaving. We had decided to leave early, and instead of leaving the next morning, my dad was like, let's just pack up, and I'm gonna drive the first shift overnight tonight. So I'm gonna go take a nap. You guys wake me up in a couple hours, and then we're gonna head back to Tennessee, make it simpler for the next day of travel. It was pretty late. I mean, it was 8 or 9, and very dark outside because we're in a cabin pretty far up into the woods. near Pikes Peak. So if
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's
That's where people they race there and all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people know Pikes Peak. So right near Pikes Peak, my dad has gone to sleep. We've packed up the car. Everything's fine. The car's parked outside the garage. We loaded up. And at this point, my grandmother and my step-grandfather had joined us out there. They were going to stay a further extra few days, but they had come out to spend a couple of our last days with us just to hang out and, see the grandbaby again because she was only 8 weeks old.
Yeah. 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And traveling that far.
Yes.
Brave.
Yes. My parents don't shy away from an adventure, and they certainly never let having kids stop them from traveling. They were just like, all right, and we're off.
Yeah.
The house was a split-level house, and you would walk in the front door, and you could go up a half flight of stairs to a kitchen and the bedrooms, and then you could go down a half flight to a basement with another bedroom that connected to the garage. And this is relevant to the next part of this story,
right?
Where my dad had gone to sleep, and I was in my little room in the house just hanging out, and I heard something outside the window, which was down at the corner of looked down upon the corner of the garage. My dad got up. He had been woken up, and he came into my room and said, "Hey, I hear something outside." And I said, "Yeah, I thought I heard something too." And he said, "Come here." And we grabbed a flashlight and went to his room that he was napping in and clicked on the light and looked down, and there's a bear outside the house.
Wow. What kind of bear?
It was a black bear.
Black bear.
Yes.
Wow.
And quickly we learned it was mama black bear and 2 cubs.
That's much worse.
That's so much worse.
So much worse. Because a normal, I say a normal bear, but a bear that doesn't have cubs or even, they might just be curious, looking for food.
Yeah.
But a mama bear is protective.
Yes. Normal black bear, we've actually had encountered one hiking one time, and it ran across the trail, and you just shouted at it, and they typically run away. They're flighty bears. We encountered that one in North Carolina one time, but this was mama bear, and that's a little more serious.
Very serious.
We kind of stood there for a minute. My grandmother came in the room, was like, "Hey, what's going on? I thought you were taking a nap." And we were like, "There's a bear." And she was like, and then she was the one who was like, "The garage is open."
Wow. Wow.
So then the next thing I know, my dad has taken off. He's flying down the first half flight of stairs, down the second one.
As any dad should.
Yes.
I'm going to go.
Yeah. And this is when we realized my mom had been putting the baby to sleep in the basement, which has a connecting door to the garage that is not latched.
Not latched, and it's probably... Is it an exterior? It doesn't matter if it's an exterior door because bears can get through that if they wanted to. But
it's an interior door if you count an interior from a garage to a basement.
Right. So
it's like a thinner door. Yeah.
Very thin.
Yeah.
And it's not latched, so a bear could easily
just push it. Yeah. My mom is, she's nursing the baby. She's got her 8-week-old. She's just sitting down there on a couch.
Yeah.
Enjoying some peace. And little did we know they had come into the garage and taken out the trash cans.
Oh, no.
And dug through them, which is not the worst of the problems.
Right.
My dad runs down there. He tells my mom, "You need to go upstairs, take the baby upstairs, go to one of the other rooms." At this point, I don't know where my brother is, but I'm sure he was somewhere playing in the living room.
Yeah.
My step-grandfather had gone to bed early, but he was awoken by all of this, as you would be. So my dad, runs out there and shouts at them, and he grabs a rake from a line of garden tools that are in the garage.
Yeah,
and
does.
he just holds it out in front of him so he can try to shoo them off. But this is Mama Bear, and she doesn't like that.
No.
So.
But now, is he aware it's Mama Bear? Does he know?
Yeah, we knew when we looked down from the bedroom window that this was a mom, and there were cubs that were kind of coming up and sneaking some food and walking away. So he went to shout at them. I'm not saying that's the smartest move, but he just needed them away from the garage opening to close the garage, and he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Then my grandmother comes down, and my grandmother is a wild person. She does canine search and rescue. She rappels. She mountain climbs. She hikes.
Wow.
She's not really scared of nature. While my dad starts rummaging around for bear spray, or a gun in this case, just in case things turn hairy, my grandmother picks up a shovel and swings it at the bear because it has tried to like bluff charge. Like it's not aggressive to the point of a full attack, but it's doing the little bluff charge things that bears do, especially when they feel threatened. Yeah, no, it is. And my grandmother, not phased. This woman is 5 foot tall on a good day, and she is swinging a shovel at a bear. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Luckily, my step-grandfather recalled where the bear spray was, ran down and tossed the can out there, and we all like backed away, closed the garage door, said, we'll abandon the car, hopefully they don't break into it, because there's food in the car now.
Yeah.
We'll get the trash in a minute. And thankfully, yes, the bear spray did work and drove them off after a few minutes, but I had to stand in that bedroom I was originally in with a flashlight, and every time they tried to creep back up to the house, I had to point a flashlight at them from the window and yell at them to scare them off, because they would keep coming back for the trash my family was trying to pick up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, I have so many questions.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. When you introduce yourself, well, actually, you don't do this because I met you in here the other day.
Yeah.
You should say, hi, my name is Catherine, and I have followed a mama bear.
Yes.
I mean,
because I did make it down to the garage as this was happening to witness at least, you know.
I would be like, I didn't particularly hold the shovel, but I was there and I was a huge part. That would be my LinkedIn profile header. Like I
kept the bears away post bear fight, you know? Like the shuffle had already happened, and you know, I was just guard after that.
Yeah, you were the sentry. I'm sure you don't know the exact number, but like how many swings did she get in?
A few. Like she just didn't stop moving it for a second, because I have no idea if she made contact with the bear or if it was just getting really close. But she was charging out there back at it.
Right.
She was like, you're not going to bluff charge me. I'm charging you.
Yeah. For the purposes of this podcast, no bears were hurt in the production of... I'm just kidding.
No, exactly. Yeah. The bears were fine. They went home.
Yeah, bears fine. Went home.
They live in the woods happily. I'm sure they're still there.
It was a minor altercation?
Yes.
Misunderstanding, really.
Really, yeah. When we couldn't blame them, we were the ones with the garage open and the cantaloupe in the trash cans.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to get into it.
This is why, though, we have bear spray, because bear spray is harmless for them, and relatively, right? And it just deters them.
It's mostly a deterrent. It burns a little bit, but it can be washed off pretty easy.
Yeah, for sure. And so, but like relative to anything else, relative to a shovel.
Relative to a shovel, you'd much rather use bear spray.
Yeah, for sure.
And
y'all,
or like
y'all
a loud alarm.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. And obviously also, there's no question about like, if a bear is coming at my family, I'm going to pick up a rake or a shovel or whatever too and just be like...
swinging, you know.
Yeah. Try to scare this bear away. Like, get away.
Yeah. The rules are, like, if you are encountering a bear that's doing that, you know, with a black bear, you should try to make yourself look bigger and try to shoo it off. But if it's charging you, fighting is your best chance.
For sure.
Know?
Yeah, at that point. That is an insane...
Don't run.
Yeah, because they're faster.
Yes.
They're like 35 miles an hour fast or something.
Yes.
Again, I'm just shocked that, like, I literally chatted with you the other day in here, and you didn't bring the story up.
No, I was just happily coloring and not at all mentioning the...
I guess, like, if you don't have an opening... For me, I would be, like, listening any mention of it. They'd be like, I saw a bee the other day. You know what bees do? They make honey. You know who loves honeys? Bears. By the way, listen to this bear story I have.
No, I do. Usually with new groups, it's one of the first ones I tell. They're
That's
like, tell
awesome.
a story. And I'm like, I've got one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Catherine, thank you so much for this story.
I am so glad I could share it. It's one of my favorites to tell.
Thank you.
So hi, my name is Tim, or Timothy Thompson, and I'm here to chat.
What's up, Tim? Nice to meet you. Randy.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah, definitely. What do you want to talk about?
So you said earlier that, for reference, that you owned a video production company.
Yeah.
And I was interested about that because I'm wanting to get into photography.
Cool.
And also, like, videography, so...
Cool. Okay.
I was wondering, like, how did you, like, first start off?
Okay. So the way I first started off was I just got a little point-and-shoot camera, and I started doing videos, vlogs, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife and I started a channel on YouTube called Randy and Anna. That's my wife's name is Anna. And we just started building a little fun community and making videos. I learned how to edit. Any laptop or computer works. Just pick up whatever free software you can find and grab whatever camera you have. If you don't have a camera, use your phone. When I
Yeah.
started, like back in the day, phones were okay and they worked, but like now the iPhone
Yeah,
or
there's-
even Android technology is so good. I mean, people are shooting films on iPhone 15s.
I've seen
so
all of that.
It doesn't like I guess what I'm saying is there's no
There's no excuse not to.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no excuse not to because you don't even have to have a laptop. You can just do it all on your phone with CapCut.
And that's what I do, basically.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
do make
so-
you make some stuff.
Yeah, so
Shout
like,
out your channel. Shout out your stuff.
I mean, all I'm on is Instagram right now. It's
That's
just
fine.
Timothy Joseph Thompson.
Timothy Joseph Thompson. Okay, cool. What kind of stuff you make?
Whenever I first started off, I was just really interested into like video. So I started off with, I told my friend about it, and he had a landscaping company, so he asked me to make a video for him.
Nice.
And it went, decent as like all first videos go.
Yeah.
Like first tries at everything.
Sure.
But it was good enough to where he was like, he wanted more. So I went back like, I don't know. I'm still making videos for him to this day. It's just not as consistent because I've gotten busier with work because I recently got a job. Yeah, I mean, I basically just started off with like my phone.
Yeah.
So I made all those videos on my phone.
That's cool.
I used just the regular iMovie, and I started off from there, and then I eventually, upgraded to a gimbal, and then I showed like some of my work to a real estate agent here in Cullman, and he started getting me from like his his like houses. So I just but he actually supplied me with the camera, which I still have, and
Nice.
I'm using currently.
What kind of camera?
It's a Canon M50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got several lenses for it, but I've just been using that so much. Like just that camera was honestly like one of the greatest gifts I've ever received because like I've just been able to do like so much with it.
That's cool. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, man, it sounds like you're already going. Like, I would encourage you keep shooting as much as you can. Learn.
I do
more
it
and
every
more.
day.
Yeah. There's
It's a passion and I just love it.
Yeah. What kind of things do you want to shoot?
So eventually I want to get into like short films.
Cool.
But as of right now, I've been doing just photography for my church, just, kind of like a charity thing. I've really enjoyed that so far because I'm Catholic, so I go to mass here in Cullman.
Cool.
But it's just like, it's really cool to capture like the core of our religion and just like in getting like in-depth shots and like almost telling a story about like what's happening in like this specific part of our service or mass.
Yeah. So let me ask, when you are, because spirituality, Catholicism, Christianity, those things, they're very internal
Yeah.
a lot of the times, and you see the fruit of it externally. Mm-hmm. But how do you convey something in a story with video that's so internal? What do you think?
Like I always look for like the close-up shots, the face, because like your face can tell a lot about like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
At the the elevation of the mass, the peak, whenever the priest is doing the consecration, there's just like I like getting close-ups of his face and then like also of what he's doing because you can see it in his eyes. He's like intensely praying. He's meditating. Also like the congregation, like the close-up shots are always the best because you can see it in their eyes or in how they're like just their posture or whatever. So
Yeah.
like the close-up shots are definitely the ones that I like to take, and I feel like that's how I can kind of convey like the spirituality of the the
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned short films. Do you have any? Yeah. Or do you have any written, or would you rather not write them? You would rather just direct or shoot? What do you think?
I would definitely like to do all of it.
Okay.
To be honest, like I'm kind of just a do-all type of guy, but like I also like know that I can't do all of it. So I'm just like, I have ideas. It's just how to get those on paper, how to get those on a camera, how to edit those. It's just like a process that I have to figure out.
Yeah.
But I do have like one that I've been like just thinking about recently.
Cool.
But
Okay, so I would recommend now, because you told me a little bit more about where you're at in the video world, what I would recommend you now doing is kind of what you're doing with me is you need to rub some elbows with people that have been in the game longer and see what they think to do next, or
Yeah.
even just hang around them while they're shooting. There's some great. I know of a director, and she knows a lot of people that she's in Huntsville. Her name is Meredith, and she's really cool. But she like has all these connections and stuff. So like, I would recommend finding a group of people that are doing what you're doing, and kind of rub elbows with them and see what you can learn from them. Because this is like a cliche thing that people say, but show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's true. If you get around people who are filmmakers, if you get around 5 filmmakers, you'll become the 6th one eventually. Like you will.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be the ones encouraging you to take the next steps, to write the script, to find the locations, to hire the actors. Not even hire them, but to, promise them free pizza.
Yeah.
And don't let barriers stop you. Think about this. You started doing video with just your phone, and that led you to getting a real camera.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
very
amazing.
True. Yeah.
There's so many people who would love to have a real camera to shoot video with, and they can't either afford it or they don't know how to make that happen. You've already done it, so you've already taken huge steps.
Yeah.
So just keep going, man. Start where you're at. Keep going. Surround yourself with like-minded people, and let them help you and drive you to keep doing more.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions? I'd love to chat more about video and stuff.
Yeah.
with you.
So what kind of video do you do? I mean, like, what's your forte?
Yeah. So for me, what I mainly focus on is post-production.
Okay.
Crema Video is the name of my company. So Crema
okay.
is when you, it's fun, we're at a coffee shop, but when you pull an espresso shot, there's this little foam layer that gets to the top of an espresso called crema. And some people love it because it adds a lot of flavor. Other people think it's too bitter, so they don't like it. But the
Yeah.
point is that the crema forms wherever in the shot, and then it rises to the top. So I always try to take me and my business and my clients rise to the top. So we're always trying to rise to the top. But for me, back to your question, I do post-production for influencers and content creators. There's people on Instagram who send me stuff. I edit their stuff, me and my editors, and then we send it back to them, and they approve it, and we post it. There's a laptop, and people can't see, but there's a laptop over there. That's that's one of my clients' videos, and one of my editors actually just started ticking off little things. There, you can see the comments there. So as we were talking, she was actually ticking them off, resolving them, and so she's getting that edit back to me, and so she's gonna pull that edit. She's gonna send that edit back to me. Then I send it to the client, and they approve it, and they post it on their YouTube channel. That particular channel, I think, has 300,000 followers.
Okay.
I've worked with some channels that have 5 million followers, some 10 million, others 100,000.
Yeah.
So all kinds of different scenarios, all kinds of different people. But it's something I love doing, and yeah, I also want to do more production as well, like stuff around here in Cullman.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for people to help me out with that. So I'm probably gonna be hitting you up, man.
Definitely interested. Definitely.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I like how you would like to do like local stuff because I love this little town. It's where I grew up. I was born. Well, it's a People's Bank now, but it used to be a hospital.
Really?
Yeah. It's the People's Bank next to the Walmart.
Cool.
The AMC Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
On Olive Street.
Yeah.
But that's where I was born, and I've just, I grew up in this town, and that would be honestly a goal of mine, just to do videos for people around here because it's a nice little town. I like the community.
Yeah, dude. So I'd love to connect on Instagram, and you can send me some of your stuff and let me see it, and I can give you critiques, and then you could even look at my stuff and see what you think.
All right,
of it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. You're open to just shooting anything, like video or
Yes,
business,
anything.
photography. Yeah, well, that's cool, man. I just started renting a studio up here in the warehouse district. So
Okay.
I'd love to have you come by sometime and check it out. My goal is to make it like a content club.
Okay.
So people can come in and shoot whatever they want with cameras. If they don't have cameras, they don't have podcast gear, I have it. They can use it, and create content. What I want to do is I want content creation to be accessible to anyone who wants to do it and has a dream.
It should be. Everyone, that's a good goal. I like that.
Cool. Thank you, man. Yeah. So anyway, did you have any other questions or anything?
I mean, I have a lot of questions, but I don't think you have the time for all of them. But
No, I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. But yeah, as far as questions, I think we're good for now.
Okay, cool. Well, let's connect off of this, and we'll chat more with Instagram and all that
right.
and everything. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first episode of Coffee with Randy. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. It's going to just be like this next couple episodes, just a fun podcast full of conversation with just whoever walks up. Speaking of which, I would love to have you come to the next Coffee with Randy filming, recording. I'm going to plan to do it June 1st, maybe in the morning. That's a Saturday. I'm going to be at Karma Coffee House in Cullman, Alabama. So if you're anywhere nearby, please come by. Say hey to me, let's talk and let's chat, and you can share a story on my podcast. And actually, that leads me to the next point, which is go follow us on Instagram. It's Coffee with Randy. The reason being, because the people that you just watched, they're entered into a competition to win $50. And I'm going to use Instagram to determine what the audience thinks was the best story. So go to Instagram. There should be a poll of some sort, like maybe a day or so after this episode releases. Make sure that you vote in the poll. And also, if you're not following, be sure to follow me there, because I'll be giving you updates on when I'm next filming, when new episodes drop, all those sorts of things. And yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. If you're listening on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to follow or download or whatever. Give us 5-star ratings if you want. If you enjoyed it, that really helps out the show. And really tell other people about it. Share the show, because I really want this to be something that people come to enjoy every week. And I would love if, like I said earlier, you guys came and spoke at one of these, or just not even spoke, but just shared a story. You'll be entered into a giveaway, like I just mentioned, and you'll also get free coffee on me. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you next week.